Wasting money on cures. Forgot how to fix myself. They say that time is free. Then why is it so precious? Oh, I'll say memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. Time is running out. Time is running out. Lately I've lost my track. I've sailed the deepest seas, hoping to find something to bring back better times. Oh, I'll say memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. But time is running out. 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 Time is running. Time is running out. Time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over. They can't be over now. Time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over now. Time is running out. Time is running out. Time is running out.
Evening, everyone. It's Jim here. Welcome to the first in our series of locked-in live streams for A-level business. As you can see, I'm flying solo at the start of this session. Hopefully, Graham might be able to join us later. He's busy teaching at the minute. But well, imagine a plane taking off with just one of the two pilots. What could possibly go wrong? Hopefully, you'll find the session as enjoyable and as useful as normal. And the idea here is 30 minutes of quick-fire revision for A-level business with a focus on application and quant skills. And today, the focus is marketing. Let's get straight into it. Just unmute myself. There we go. Take off for landing. As people are joining us, let's do our quick reveal, the big reveal quiz. We do this at the start of every A-level business live stream as usual. First one to get the answer right in the live chat gets the kudos. Here's the first clue. And it is a brand. Name the brand. This business spends almost nothing on advertising. I mean, it isn't nothing, but it might as well be nothing. What do we think? Have a go. It's not due to you because we spend a lot of money on advertising. I'll keep an eye on the live chat to see who is first. You can have as many goes as you wish. Clue number 2. Owned by the business that also owns Ovaltine and Ryvita. Owned by the business that also owns Ovaltine and Ryvita. That suggests a sort of foodie type association, doesn't it? What do we think? What do we think? Don't forget the AI system will automatically pick at the end of this who was first in the live chat with the right answer. Next clue. Doesn't offer home delivery. Does not offer home delivery. Fourth clue. Inventory control. I know today's about marketing, but of course inventory control is very closely linked to marketing, but this business does not quickly restock products that sell out. Presumably so that it can benefit from consumers fearing missing out, so they constantly look for products that are in stock. We've had Aldi, we've had the Ritz, we've had Marks and Spencer's. What about the last clue? The name is intended to suggest good value and mass market. In fact, this is how the name was created, to suggest it's an amalgam of good value and mass market. We do actually have a correct answer in the live chat. The AI will point it out, but maybe have a few more people have a go. And the first person in, actually, on the first clue, this is what the system telling me was Harvey, correctly saying that the answer is indeed Primark. There we go. And I think Primark is one of those interesting case studies that actually has loads of application for A-level business marketing, particularly for AQA students. If you're looking for an example of a business that you can maybe use to compare and contrast, or to add some application to your analysis, it's a good one to use. Good stuff. Okay, well, with these, well done, Harvey, says the live chat. With these, we'll start off with a few MCQs just to get us going. Now, obviously, EdXL students, you don't have multiple choice questions. AQA students, you get 15 of them. But these are intended just to help us focus on marketing topics. So here's our first one. Now, I'll give you a clue with this one. The answer on these is either A or B or C or D. So hopefully you'll find that helpful. So we've got a business with a marketing objective, which is to increase brand loyalty. Which of those four is that objective most likely to be achieved by or supported by? What do you think? The objective is to increase brand loyalty. I can certainly see the right answer on the screen. What do we think? Most people going, Nikita, Chow and others, Felicity, all going for the same answer. So it must be right. And Harvey's also gone for the same answer. So therefore it must be right. The answer is indeed yes, C. Providing high quality products, excellent customer service. That's associated, isn't it, with brands that have high brand loyalty. Particularly, I think, the quality issue is important. I think customer service is even more important. That consistency of experience or product. We're off to a good start. Try number two. Question number 2 coming up now. A bit harder this time. A product has an income elasticity demand coefficient of plus 2.5. Okay. Now, average incomes then fall by 4%. So if current sales before that fall were £100,000, what will the new sales revenue be for the product? So the YED is plus 2.5, and we're told that incomes are going to fall by 4%. If current sales before the change were £100,000, what will the new sales revenue be? Got enough information there to be able to apply the income elasticity coefficient. What do we think? Now, don't forget, EdXL students, you need to be able to calculate the coefficient. AQA students, you don't need to calculate the coefficient, but really you do need to know how to calculate it, because I think knowing how it's calculated and what it means is a huge step along the way to being able to use that kind of information in your answers. And most people in the live chat are going for, well, it's either A or C, I would say, is the two most popular answers. And let's have a look at the answer. The answer is indeed A. Yes, A. So what does that 2.5 mean? That plus 2.5 mean? Well, it's sort of normal good, isn't it? That would mean that if incomes rise, then we would expect the quantity demanded to rise, but by more than a percentage change in income. So that tells us for every 1% change, there's going to be a 2.5% change in quantity demanded, but we're told that average incomes are going to fall. So if incomes are falling, then we would expect quantity demanded to fall, and it's going to be 4 times 2.5, or 10%. And therefore, if we apply that, 10%, or a 10% reduction in sales from 100,000 is £90,000. So answer A. Let's try the next question. A familiar format to AQA students, but a nice format for everybody to have a go at. You've got 2 statements on the screen there. You just need to work out whether each statement is either true or false. And the answers are always the same. True, 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 false, false, true, or false, false. So work out, have a look at statement 1, and then have a look at statement 2, and work out whether you believe each is either true or false. What do we think? Give you another 15 seconds or so to have a go at that one. marketing research. This hasn't beaten the team. Tonight's live stream audience, I would say, has got this 100% correct. So the answer is indeed D. Yeah, they're both false, aren't they? In fact, they're the wrong way around, aren't they? Secondary market research, well, no, that's actually the description there, collecting new first-hand data for a specific purpose. That's primary research. For example, you might undertake a survey or host a focus group with a specific research purpose in mind. That's primary. Whereas secondary is statement 2. It's research that's been collected for a different purpose. It could have been a sales report, or it could have been an industry report. It makes it secondary. And of course, you need to know that the relative merits, drawbacks and merits of both type, and also when each type is most useful. But yeah, so that was false. The answer was D. Let's try another one. Now, niche and mass markets, very commonly examined topic in both the main exam boards. So which of the following is most likely to be a consequence of a business moving from a niche market into a mass market? So if a business moves from operating, competing in a niche market into a mass market, which of those 4 is perhaps the most likely consequence? And you might be able to do this by way of excluding the answers where it wouldn't be right, and you'll be left with 1. A, B, C, or D. And once again, it's proving that tonight's live stream audience is sharp as a tack, which is good. If you're watching this on replay, hopefully you've also got the answer B. So well done if you said B. Yeah, it's by definition, almost a mass market is going to be including competitors which are likely to be significantly larger, stronger, better established, and operating at greater scale. Moving away from the maybe the cozy, safer environs of a niche market, not always the case, but into a mass market, almost certainly. That's the most likely response, isn't it? It's going to be significantly increased competition. And there's been pointed out in the live chat, D, basically differentiation of products and services, goods and services, is a feature of a niche market. As people move into a mass market in general, products and services get less differentiated. Good stuff. Excellent stuff. Last one. Question 5. Over to you on the Boston Matrix, the Boston Growth Matrix. So in the Boston Matrix, is it true that a star has a low market share of a high growth market? And what about statement 2? Is it true that in the Boston Matrix, a cash cow has a high share of a low growth market? Now we know that the Boston Matrix is that combination, isn't it, of high and low market growth rate and high and low relative market share. So some combination of those is going to be true. But are those 2 true? Most people are going for answer C. So you're saying statement 1 is false, statement 2 is true. Let's have a look. Well done. Excellent knowledge of the Boston Matrix. Yeah. A star, well, that's wrong, isn't it? A star has a high market share, relatively high market share of a high growth market. It can't be beaten, can it? If you've got a star in your portfolio, then that's good news, and ideally more than 1 or 2 stars. But no, so that's it's a high share of a high growth market. But statement 2 is spot on. A cash cow has a high market share of a low growth market. And it's so called a cash cow because cash cows typically are profitable and they tend not to need much investment. So therefore they tend to generate not just high profits, but also high cash flows. So always worth having a cash cow or 2 in your portfolio if you've got more than 1 product. Well done. Now, we're going to do a couple of calculations in this session. Here's our first one. This wouldn't be a Tutor Do live stream without Greg's. So we've put a little mini case study together here based around leads. In 2025, Greg's earned, and these are realistic but fictitious numbers, earned £10 million in sales from the food on the go market in Leeds. And that gave it a 10% market share. Some information there. This year, Greg's estimates that the size of the Leeds market will grow by 6%. And also they forecast that their sales will grow by 1.5 million due to new store openings. So with that information alone, can you tell me? I'll put a little clock on this one as well. Can you tell me the estimated market share of Greggs in Leeds this year? Have a go. We'll know the time's up when the music stops. So what's the estimated market share of Greggs in Leeds this year? And you can round it up to 1 decimal place or 2. It's up to you. But don't forget to always put a percentage sign at the end, since market share is always expressed as a percentage. There we go. As the music fades away, I know that's a minute, even if the clock didn't work. What could possibly go wrong? I said it at the start. So we've got some information and we've got some answers coming through as well, which is good to see. Nikita thinks it's 10.85%. Maeve also agrees with that, although there's a question mark. Maybe that should have said percentage rather than question mark. Clamperall's rounded up to 10.9%. Super Sigma going 10.8. So answers coming through. Let's go through the working, shall we? Let's take you through how we work it out. All the information you need is in there. Let's go through it. Here we go. So the first step is to work out what was last year's market size, because we were told that Greggs had a 10% share of a market and that their sales were £10 million. That must mean if we've got a 10% share and their sales were 10 in Leeds, the market must be £100 million, isn't it, of food on the go in Leeds. There's our starting point. That's a useful number to have. Now, what's the market size going to be this year? Well, it's going to start at 100, but we were told it's going to grow by 6%. So our market size this year is going to be 6% on top of 100 million. That's 106 million pounds. So the growth, the market's going to grow by 6 million, or 6%. That's useful to know. Now, what's our sales revenue going to be for Greggs this year? Well, last year it was 10 million, but we're told it's going to increase by 1.5. So our sales this year are going to be 11.5. So you can see, really, with all of these things, as always, it's about the process, putting down your workings. So our Greggs market share, we're going to have sales of 11.5 million. And we're going to divide that by the new Leeds market size of 106 million, times by 100, and always express as a percentage. So Maeve was spot on with 10.85%, so to Nikita and others. Hopefully you got that one right. If you didn't, with a calculation, full marker in Excel, 2, 3, 4 marker in AQA, never leave it blank. If you just wrote what market share is, you get a mark. If you wrote the formula down, show your process, show your workings, you could easily get 3 out of 4, even if you didn't necessarily get the final answer right. So with all calculations, as you start to revise those and practice those over the coming week, make sure you always follow the process. Formula, substitute the numbers, do your numbers. Good stuff. We'll do one more of those. That was quite a hard one, that one, though, to be fair. Let's just move on to a little bit of application. We always try and do a couple of bits of application in the live stream. And obviously today has got a marketing focus. And the idea here is to help develop your contextual skills, to show you some techniques to help add application to your analysis. Too many student answers in the real exams are vanilla. They could be about any business. Well, we don't want them to be about any business. We want them to be about the context that you get given. So here's our spinner, and we're looking at pricing strategy here. So 6 businesses there, hopefully familiar to you. Let's spin the wheel. Totally random. No idea where it's going to end. And would you believe it? It's landed on View Cinemas, the venue for our Grade Booster workshops that Graham and I are running in March. Actually, we're at the Odeon, aren't we, in Newcastle and Manchester, and the Cineworld in Leeds. But apart from that, everything else is a View Cinema. So over to you in the live chat. Could you give me a factor affecting the pricing strategy of View Cinemas? Now, obviously, in the specifications, there are various factors, aren't there, that influence the price or the pricing strategy that businesses adopt. What are they? Can you give me one? But even better, with some words that make it about View Cinemas and not just about any old business. So what do we think? Factors affecting the pricing strategy of View. And your answer should be different from, say, Ryanair or Skoda. Give you a few seconds, 15 seconds or so to have a go. If you want to have a go in the live chat, have a go. What do we think? Factors affecting the pricing of View cinemas. Okay, I'll keep an eye out in the live chat to see if anybody wants to have a go. And as I speak, let's stick a few on. Chow is in there with a really detailed answer. It looks good. View cinemas may be affected by consumer income. Yeah, consumer income is definitely a factor. Income's massive factor in pricing strategy. But then here comes the application as they are competing with streaming services, you could say, such as Netflix or Disney Plus, which release new movies. Therefore, pricing has to take account of the fact that they're competing against alternative sources of entertainment. And it's a massive issue for the cinemas, streaming services, particularly for movies that go direct to stream. What else have we got here? We've got some price discrimination arguments coming in, which is very much economics. So factors affecting pricing, different consumers have different incomes, different propensity to demand. Students, for example, if you're trying to attract student attendees, chances are you need to charge maybe a different price or a different promotional activity for those. We've got dynamic pricing coming in. So I was having a chat with the View Cinema manager at White City just before Wicked for Good came out, the weekend before. He was expecting 19 to 20,000 people to turn up. And the pricing for Wicked for Good might be different from, say, the pricing for, I don't know, Melania or some films that are less popular. Good stuff. This is good. What have we got here? Harvey, demographic factors, definitely. So not just incomes, demographic factors such as age, like to charge a lower price to watch children's films. So the words films, 18 plus, thrillers, those are application words that makes this about View Cinemas, because Gymshark don't sell films, do they? This is good stuff, excellent stuff. Let's just see what I went with. I went with 3 factors. Could have easily picked yours. In fact, possibly should have picked yours as being better. The cost of things, cost of inputs, such as, and here's our application, such as. So as soon as you put a vanilla word in like customer input, variable costs, fixed costs, always follow it with such as and give an example that's relevant to the business. So I went with electricity for the screens and lighting and the cost of concessions, such as popcorn and ice cream. I picked up an earlier point, a competition from rivals such as Odeon and Cineworld, and substitutes like Netflix, and also fixed costs such as rent on the cinema sites and the salaries of the cinema managers. Those are all factors, costs, competition, that will impact the pricing strategy that View Cinemas do. And that's the idea. That's the whole idea of the application spinner. I really like your answers. I might steal some of those for the next time we do this. Let's move on to the next activity. And our last calculation is on a mini business called Pane in the Glass. And Pane in the Glass is a commercial window cleaning business owned by Vera Payne. And you've probably seen them actually. She charges £40 per shop window clean. So she goes around with a squeegee, or a team do, and clean 600 shops per month. Hard work. Now, due to increased competition, Vera is considering a 10% reduction in selling price. And we're told that the demand for commercial window cleaning is estimated to have a PED, price elasticity demand coefficient, of minus 1.4. So we've got some information there about Pane in the Glass, thinking about a 10% cut or reduction in selling price, and we have a PED coefficient of minus 1.4. She cleans 600 shops per month. So over to you in the live chat. Can you tell me or calculate the estimated monthly sales of Pane in the Glass if that 10% decrease in selling price goes ahead? Over to you. What will it be? There's sort of 2 or 3 steps in this calculation, so to get it right, it's pretty impressive work if you do, but if you don't know, we'll go through the answers. I thought that question was going to phase people, but how wrong I was. I think Super Sigma was first into the live chat with what I believe to be the correct answer, closely followed by M Destroyer, Maeve, who's on fire tonight, and Nikita as well, and Clam. So well done if you came up with the correct answer. Let's go through it, shall we? Shall we have a look? Just before we do that, let's just make sure we understand what we're told there. So a PED coefficient of minus 1.4. That means for every 1% change in price, there'll be a 1.4% change in quantity demanded. And clearly, a reduction in selling price should result in an increase in quantity demanded. So she's going to cut her selling price by 10%. Therefore, we should expect an increase in demand of 14%. Let's look through the numbers. It is indeed 24,624. So well done if you got that right. If you're working on the live chat or the on demand, let's just go through that. So the percentage change in price, well, we're told it's going to be a cut of 10% in her window cleaning charge. Now it's 1.4 is the coefficient. So that means we should expect to clean 14% more shops. So we'll move from doing 600 window cleans to 684. It will increase by 84 cleans. That's a 14% increase. So that suggests that is elastic, isn't it? It's elastic demand. In other words, the quantity demanded changes by more than the change in price. So we've got how many cleans that she's going to do each month. But of course, the price has gone down. So we're doing more cleaning, but we're only getting £36 per clean because the price has gone down by 10%, £4. So our new monthly revenue is 24,624 compared with £24,000 before. So actually, she will make more revenue. However, the question is, could she do it? I mean, she may not have the capacity. Her team may not have the capacity to do that. So what we don't know is whether or not the business would benefit, would actually be able to achieve that number of window cleans. But anyway, you weren't asked that, were you? You were asked to calculate the new monthly revenue. That is the correct answer. Well done. Well done. And let's wipe that one and move on to our last little bit of application. Just a quick bit of a revision. I think product lifecycle is a really important marketing concept alongside things like the Boston Matrix and pricing strategies. My view is that if you look around, most markets, most industries are basically at the maturity stage. Obviously, there are lots of high profile and well-known markets that are at the growth or introductory stage or are in decline, but actually most consumer markets, most products you look at, most services are at the maturity stage. They've been around a while. They have relatively low growth, and therefore businesses often need to look to product lifecycle extension strategies in order to keep the sales growing, in order to stave off the decline. So I've put down a few of them there as an introduction to our little last activity on the application spinner. So can you change the product in some way? Can you rebrand it? Can you do some different promotion? Perhaps find a new use for the product. Perhaps change the price or change the packaging, or perhaps introduce that product to a new segment who've not yet adopted it or started using it. So lots of things you can do. The question is, could you come up with some ideas? So here's our last application spinner, and we're going to spin the wheel again and ask you, how might the business that's selected use product lifecycle strategies? Now, it's application, so pick one of those ideas and apply it in the context of the business, ideally using such as seasoning or words about the business. Shall we spin it? I think we should. Last application spinner for the day. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? That was me thinking that this entire session had been really carefully designed around the big reveal, and it was going to land on Primark, but it didn't, did it? It's random. It's landed on Greg. So over to you. I know what people think, it always lands on Greg's. It isn't always, but it is quite common. So how might Greg's use product lifecycle extension strategies? Give you half a minute to have a think about some ideas. So if you were sat in the Greg's boardroom in Newcastle there, and the board said that we need some ideas now, we need to extend the life cycle of some of our products, how might you do that? What would you suggest they consider? Have a go. How might Greg's use product life cycle strategies? Let's stick some of these on the screen here. Felicity, what an amazing application answer. This is where it's at. I mean, this is application with bells on. Different flavors of their goods or products. For example, they might introduce or might have a strawberry donut, and to extend it, add new flavors of donuts or maybe new flavors of toppings. Absolutely fantastic. That is exactly what we're looking for. Let's go for this one, using new recipes. You see, the word recipe by itself is application. Lego don't have recipes, do they? Spotify have playlists, not recipes. But Greg's have recipes. So using new recipes such as, there we are, there it is, such as icing on the potato wedges, which may attract old customers, or maybe not so much old customers, but previous customers who've reached the end of their marginal utility. Well, there's a bit of economics in that, which we didn't need, but I'll take that. The classic extension strategy, which Chow's mentioned, introducing the vegan sausage roll. Here we go. Yeah, and Super Sigma's gone with the same idea. I love this from Nikita. Introduce new items onto the menu. So the word menu is application because it's about Greg's. Primark don't have a menu last time I looked, and neither does Vinted. Costa Coffee does, but that doesn't matter. Good stuff. Really good. Should we see what I went with? I can't beat those, really. Let's see what I went with. I went with, they said, trying to click in the right order. Here's my 3. You could have had any one of those, really. Sort of adapting the product. I think product life cycle is often about tweaking the product, perhaps even tweaking the packaging, such as introducing vegan or limited edition flavors of sausage rolls. It's a classic, isn't it? Take a classic, mature product like a sausage roll and give it a new spin, a new flavor. Not sure I put icing on the top of it, but needs must. New promotional methods. So obviously meal deals are well established, but yeah, maybe introduce more seasonal marketing, more seasonal promotions, such as Valentine's Day treats. They probably already do it, but maybe some specials. And then also thinking about expanding distribution. So obviously Greg's are trying to increase the number of their retail outlets, but they're also in the food on the go market, aren't they? And there's lots of people delivering food on the go, such as Deliveroo. What have we got here? I'm just picking some great ideas coming through. Yeah, gluten-free. Harvey's gone for gluten-free. Let's stick these on the screen now just to show you some fantastic answers in the live stream. Gluten-free. Yeah. Did they have a gluten-free menu already, Greg's? If Graham was here, we could ask him. He would know. I'm not that. I don't go into Greg's that often. Somebody's suggesting adding addictive ingredients, like a CBD type sausage roll. Possibly. Good stuff. Well done. You get the idea. Now, application is so vital. So on these live streams, we'll continue to dip into our application spin rates. It's a really nice activity. You get the idea. Oh, I'm told it's like a caffeinated bun. Okay, got it. Caffeinated buns, caffeinated sausage rolls that keep you up all night or give you a boost in the morning. Good stuff. Excellent. Okay, let's finish off with our final case study. And it's over to you in the live chat to give me some ideas here. We're on to segmentation. So we've got a business here called Clean Getaway, which is a car valeting business. They come to your house or come to your flat or come to your office and clean your car and leave it looking brand new, even newer than new. Owned by a couple of people called a couple of entrepreneurs, Polly Esther, and Lou Bricot. I think he's French. And Polly and Lou, their existing customers are local households with standard vehicles. You know the kind of thing. But they're considering expanding the business by offering a new premium valeting service for luxury car owners. So over to you in the live chat, last activity. How could an understanding of segmentation help Clean Getaway make a success of their expansion? So can you give me maybe one method of market segmentation? There are 3 or 4 of them in the specs, business specs, and maybe just align a few words about how that could help them make a success of their expansion idea, which of course is to offer a new premium valeting service for luxury car owners. So over to you to have a think. Real business and exists, obviously, like all of our case study businesses. Polly and Lou, sick of cleaning cars like, I was going to say Skoda. I mean, Skodas, I've got a Skoda. Seat Ibizas and all that kind of stuff. So we've got some answers coming through here. Let's think they could, with a focus on geographic segmentation, they could use marketing research to identify areas where more luxury car owners live. Yeah, very good. So geographic segmentation. Super Sigma is building on a similar idea. I love this. And understanding, using geographic segmentation to understand where to advertise for luxury car owners. So instead of putting posters up in Lidl or Aldi, they may choose to advertise in Waitrose. Well, yeah, that's very much, isn't it? Waitrose. I'm not sure how you advertise in Waitrose, but maybe targeting people who like Waitrose using social media. Yeah, income segmentation. So clearly we're going to be targeting people with a higher disposable income. They're going to be less price sensitive, more likely to want to continue to make their pride and joy, their luxury car look brand new, which will therefore enable them to charge a premium price, which hopefully increase their sales. What else have we got here? Segmentation based on location. So again, geographic segmentation. So in a posh area, yeah, that's application. Love it. People are running out of characters. Great answers coming through. Love it. So most people, I would say, are going for income segmentation. One or two people suggesting demographic segmentation. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Because it's quite likely that, not exclusively, that luxury car owners are probably on the, should we say, the older side of maybe the retired or middle-aged or dual income, no kids yet, or maybe the kids have flown the nest. Yeah, high net worth individuals may be making a point. So again, income segmentation. What I love about that is that phrase, high net worth individuals, which suggests that these are individuals who are prepared to invest in their vehicles. Therefore, they may be tempted to fall for a price skimming strategy, or certainly for a premium service. Good stuff. Excellent. Shall we have a look? I went with these two. I think I agree with you. I went with income segmentation and geographic. Now, I'll leave it on the screen. Don't forget you can download these slides. So if you want to, you can always have a look to see the answers that we came up with. But here the point really is just to highlight in red where application comes in. So what we argue with our paragraph structure for A-level business is that analysis should be intertwined with application. So help explaining the how and the why is your analysis, a cause and effect. But ideally, you sort of season your analysis with words that make it about the context given or the situation. So in this case, it's luxury cars. So an understanding income segmentation could help Clean Getaway identify potential customers, couldn't it? So to make a success, we need to find out who owns luxury cars. Owners of high-value vehicles such as Beamers, Audis, Porsches, Skodas are likely to have higher disposable income and maybe less price sensitive than their existing standard customers. That will enable them to introduce a premium pricing strategy for luxury valeting. So the word valeting is application, reflecting the higher expectations of quality and care. For example, they could offer some specialist services such as maybe paint protection or interior detailing. Fine quality cleaning. And also the obvious one, isn't it? Geographic segmentation. Try to find out where people who own luxury cars live or work and target those locations. So quite rightly, don't target those living next to a Lidl or an Aldi, you and I, but target luxury car owners who may be in the more affluent areas, or perhaps luxury developments, or even where they work. You know, they park the car outside the office. Yes, I'd like you to go valet it whilst I sit in the boardroom. That kind of stuff. A number of people suggesting targeting the GTD headquarters, as Jim and Jeff already have Lambos and pools. Well, that's not quite true. We haven't got a pool. There we go. Hopefully that's useful. That's an example, isn't it? Income segmentation and geographic segmentation. Excellent stuff. There we go. I made it through without too many mishaps. Hopefully we'll get Graham back for our live streams next week. We've got 4 of these before we're on the road with our Grade Booster workshops, where Graham and I will be live with you in Newcastle, Leeds, Manchester, Bristol, Birmingham and London. If you join us there, that would be great. Hopefully you found the session useful. We're back again this time next week on Tuesday. Thanks for joining us live, and keep going with your revision. And if I don't see you before next week, have a great half term. Cheers all.